Cal State San Bernardino's own Coyote Radio. I'm Jacob Justus, and it's again time for Lunchtime Live. Each week, I'll bring you one of the local area's most phenomenal artists. Sit back and enjoy as we present the music, story, and words of one of the inland area's greatest artists. Here today on Lunchtime Live.
And welcome to yet another edition of Lunchtime Live, coming to you from the campus of California State University, San Bernardino. Our in-studio guest today is none other than Brett DAWSON of the band Soul of the River. You've heard him so many times here on Coyote Radio and in and around the Inland Empire and the Southland of Southern California. Today, Brett is here in studio with us. You'll be hearing a lot of the great music of Soul of the River, the band that hails from Riverside, and you'll hear a lot about what brought that band together. Without further ado, here is Brett DAWSON and your host, Coyote Radio Music Director, Jacob Justus.
Thank you, Lacey, and here we are today, another lovely Friday afternoon. We're away from the rain and the dreariness that was April and most of May, so I'm happy about that. What about you, Brett?
Yeah, I'm stoked. I'm ready for the summer. Kind of dreading the heat, though. You know, the Riverside heat. That's
true. It can be pretty brutal out there. It's what I used to like about living in Redlands, you know.
All right.
It's always about 15 degrees cooler out there. We're stuck here in San Bernardino now, and we're going to have to tough it out. Hopefully it'll be mild, but Riverside, like she said, that's where you're from. Did you grow up around here? Is the band all, the guys all living in the area?
Absolutely. I grew up in Riverside, and the other guys grew up in Riverside as well. Steve, the bass player, moved up to Crestline. Cool. So he's living in Crestline now. But yeah, we're all born, bred, raised in Riverside, and what's funny is I would say we probably don't really have the Riverside sound.
Yeah, you guys kind of are a little untraditional. In Riverside, you kind of get a little more edgier music, or it goes the other way. There's a lot of jazz and stuff like that you can find, but you guys fall somewhere distinctly in the middle. Where would you put yourself categorically? How do you see yourself?
We call ourselves funky rock grooves. Sometimes we get categorized in the jam band category.
Yeah. Which
sometimes can be a good thing or a bad thing,
Yeah.
But actually, we don't play any guitar solos. We don't have any 15-minute songs. So we're a little bit different than your average jam band.
Yeah, I was trying to pin down like your guys' sound, and the closest I could come up to it. And this is going to sound totally weird because your voice doesn't have this character at all, but kind of a little like the Blind Melon. The melodies are like Blind Melon.
Yeah.
But you kind of have more of an Eddie Vedder thing going on, a little more Pearl Jam, a little grainy kind of voice and stuff. So. Yeah. It's a cool blend of the melody with that kind of roughness over the top that I think does it for me.
Yeah. A lot of people compare us to Red Hot Chili Peppers as well.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. Yeah, with the little bit of the funk. There's one of the songs that we're going to hear today. I think it's Sweet as the Sky. There's this one section where there's a little bit of a breakdown, a little bit of a bass breakdown. It sort of drops out a little bit. And so that's cool, mixing it up and playing it like that. Is singing something that you've always been passionate about, or is this, just since the formation of the band?
More songwriting. I just became a singer by default, just because I was the only person willing to sing.
Gotcha.
So we started out by just by making up songs. This is one of the funnest things you can do is you sit around a fire pit with your friends and you just start making up songs. And usually it starts because you get rappers, guys who are aspiring rappers or whatever, and they start rapping and you play like a funk groove. And then once you get people going, then you start trying to make up songs on the spot.
Yeah. And
usually it's really terrible. And especially once everybody gets loose, then you have like 10 or 11 people all singing something at the same time.
Yeah, for sure. I've definitely we do that in my group too. We've got I have a buddy of ours that lives up on this really nice ranch, and so we can really cut loose out there, and it's a good time. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into one here. This song is called As I Sing, coming at you live from the campus of Cal State San Bernardino. This is Coyote Radio.
Yeah, she's like the cold, yeah, she's like the bed.
Excellent track. Love it. Like I said, I'm not quite sure where to put you guys categorically, but as we were talking about it here, I think you guys definitely have a unique sound, and I think it worked out. Even though you may not have wanted to do the vocals, it's a good sound. It's a unique sound.
Yeah. We're proud of that. We really tried to make like our own sound, but sometimes it can bite you, because people don't. Sometimes lots of people want to just hear somebody that sounds just like
their top
something
40
else.
favorites or something. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a top 40 guy. I don't really tune in, but every time, Beyonce puts out a new video, I might put it on, have it on mute, check it out, see what it's all about. But I'm not really for the music. It's sort of like, I could pass. But how long have you been doing this thing? You said Campfire came together on these sort of campfire stories, but how long have you been doing it?
We started about 2002, which is kind of crazy. Because this is we're just about to release our first album, finally. We've been giving out a free 4-song demo for who knows how many years. But yeah, we started about 2002 and really got going about 2003 and been just going strong ever since.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good. You guys, it sounds like a developed sound, and we're going to get a little more of that later. You got a new album that's coming up soon. But let's talk a little bit about the band's creative processes. I kind of envision you guys now as just sort of a loose bunch of folks sitting around and just kind of piecing it together. But is there any kind of formatted regiment to your songwriting process? Or?
Yeah, that pretty much explains it too. Our rehearsals are really, really loose, sometimes too loose. And, come on, we got to get it together. We got to show tomorrow. But usually, most of the songs, especially on this album, I would just write them, and they would sound kind of like a Jack Johnson type thing.
For sure.
And then I'd bring it to the band, and we would just start jamming it out and jamming it. And it usually would take a process of several months before all of a sudden maybe the bass player would play like he would play like some reggae bass line or something that just to mess around, and we'd go, oh, that's it, And so the arrangement part, the whole band would put together. But some songs would just come out of jams, like Sex in the Morning came purely out of a jam, and it was just totally improvised. And then we made up the whole jam, and then I ended up going home going, what do I have that's a 2-chord good melody? And then I had one that said, she's like 6 in the morning. Da, da, da. So I went back to rehearsal and we played it, and I was like, she's like 6 in the morning. And afterwards the guys are all, yeah, 6 in the morning, that's the greatest. And I'm like, oh no. So now like every time my wife comes to our shows, everybody starts pointing at her. And I just, it's not about my wife. It's not about anybody. I feel bad.
Well, no, that's cool. It's kind of cool, the backstory on that, so now everyone will know. The album that you guys are releasing this summer, I was kind of interested to find out if we can hear some of your previous works on this, in like a revamped form, or if we're going to have exclusively new tunes or maybe some blend of the two to sort of feast our ears on.
This will be kind of a blend. About a third of the album, it took us a long time to record the album. We started in 2006. So, like As I Sing Here that we just played, and Sweet as the Sky, and Sex in the Morning, those 3 were songs that we released in the process. But then, so about a third of the album has been heard before, but the other 2/3 haven't. We have like 15 songs on there, so.
Nice. Yeah.
But there's one song we'll be playing today called Right that nobody's heard before.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of a neat song.
That'll be our new hit single, guaranteed to sell well under 1 million albums.
For sure. I've seen that. For those out in Radio Land, you can't see this, but Brett's wearing a Bob Dylan shirt, Bobby D. And that song took me to Bob Dylan because of sort of the words, and then I kind of changed my perspective on the band a little bit after hearing that song.
All right,
But definitely a cool song. Can't wait to hear that one. And a couple of the tracks that we're going to hear today, there's kind of a lonely but sort of optimistic feel to the lyrics, and they seem to kind of be about a woman. And as you mentioned, Right is not about your wife, but the other ones, it seems like the theme would suggest that perhaps it is about someone. But I'm wondering, is this an intentional theme, or is this just a trend that evolved out of just kind of writing from your heart?
Yeah, I think it's probably just from writing from my heart. Some of the songs are really old. I mean, we started in 2002, so some of them are breakup songs.
Right.
And those are the ones my wife likes the best, are the ones about ex-girlfriends.
For sure, yeah, because she's the one now.
Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just from the heart, maybe.
And who's your primary audience? Do you guys have like a niche that you're trying to fit into, or just
It'd be
playing
a lot
for whoever's-
easier if we had a niche, because everything I read about independent bands, if you have a niche, you just work that niche. But we kind of fall in the middle somewhere. So most of our fans are just all over the map. And what's funny is we have more fans like out and towards the Great Lakes and in Europe than we do in Riverside.
Yeah, people out here, they like it's edgy, you know,
Yeah.
living on the edge of your seat. It's kind of like that in California. It's sink or swim, man. But here we go. We're going to jump into it, give them something to talk about here. This one's called Sex in the Morning. You're listening to Coyote Radio.
Day shines, what she wants, she gets jelly roll blues. Always on the deck, skin so smooth. I love what she sun is right, but she's always ready to go. Let the sun ride all day, time passing, and it don't matter at all.
And here we are once again with Brett from Soul of the River. Again, song not intended to be sex in the morning, but that's just kind of how it stuck. It was 6 in
Yeah.
the morning, and the guys were all about sex in the morning. So
Yeah, that was a battle I was gonna lose. So as a band leader, sometimes you just gotta give in.
I think it works well, though. I mean, I don't know. I'm trying to like supplement the word six and see if it has the same feel. It kind of doesn't, so I kind of feel like you made the right choice.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even if under duress, you know. But do you guys generally? And like you said, I asked this question because I feel like you said, you may be a little separated in terms of the typical audience that people in Riverside and surrounding areas are used to listening to. Do you guys play by yourselves usually? You know, for like bar mitzvahs and stuff like this, or parties, or is it? You know, do you have regular venues and bands that you play with?
Oh yeah, there's regular venues and bands that we play with, and the community of the bands around the IE are they're very strong. Everybody's really cool, and
Yeah.
so there's a lot of bands that we just play with. We try to play with the same bands as much as we can, just because we like hanging out with all of them.
Yeah.
But lots of times it's not really up to you who plays.
Sure.
But we play just play all over Riverside. We've been getting to where we think we want to focus more on like videos and the internet, things like that, instead of just playing out live. But some of our favorite places are maybe the Vault or Worthington's Tavern in Riverside.
Yeah.
And we play in San Diego a lot, in the Ocean Beach area.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, they have kind of a more mellowed crowd
Yeah.
down there. You know, people are a little easier going
Definitely.
down there. You know, flip flops and board shorts.
Yeah.
Shirts optional, ladies. So that's I definitely kind of feel that way about it. This area, it can be tough, you know, at times to because I don't always want to go to a screamer or a rager show. I don't always want to go to a rock show, and so it's tough to find that middle ground. I'd definitely be looking to see, you know, some of the bands that you guys play with and check them out.
There's
too.
some great ones out there. It's and they also have lots of great ones with great albums too that are out there. It's just the whole trick is lots of I think lots of people in the Inland Empire kind of think that they would rather go pay $40 to go see, you know, Foo Fighters or something in LA, when they don't realize there's somebody that their favorite band's probably right around the corner that they can see for $5 or for free.
Yeah, that's the thing. I grew up in the age where, you know, the Glass House was still putting on good shows, and you could see some cool bands play for like $5-10, and it seems like it's kind of getting phased out.
Yeah.
The university here, they sponsor some pretty big name shows. I think we had like Papa Roach here a while back, and then we had B.B. King quite a while back now. I guess it's been almost a year since he played, but for lack of a better reference, there you go. And same business. I mean, you're paying top dollar for tickets to see it, and it was more convenient for the, you know, those who live in the locale here. But like we're saying, we're trying to encourage people to go out and support, you know, local bands, local artists, and certainly local businesses in the community that are hosting these events, you know, because that's how we're going to make this thing grow, and how we're going to get some recognition for the hard work that you guys are doing. And speaking of which, what makes your guys' music stand out amongst other artists and bands that you're playing with, some of your contemporaries?
Well, I'd have to say it's our original sound. And I write the songs, so I might be a little bit biased, but I think the songs are really good. And I think it's just good songwriting. We have good style, and I don't know, that's all I can think of right now.
Yeah. You know, again, just want to emphasize it's a cool thing that you guys are doing, and to our listenership, check these guys out. And you'll get an opportunity to do that right now, because we're going to bring you another one. This one's called Sweet as the Sky by Soul of the River.
She's putting on her makeup. He's putting on his time. She packs him lunch or breakfast. He's running behind. He's always running behind. I'll never let go. I've been thinking about the future. I don't know how we're gonna end up, though. I know I love you so. I've been thinking about your feelings, and I promise to give you a happy home.
That one gets a lot of play, and we hear definitely a lot of good feedback about that song. You said this one is you actually wrote about your wife, but the irony is that she is not as into it as some of the other ones. I got a solution for you. When you go and you play a show, great thing to do is you can just point her out, you know, and just, you know, I dedicate this one to you. You know.
Shine the spotlight down on her.
Kick over a mic stand or something, you know. It'll make good. Somebody buy this gal a drink, you know. Then you'll win her over. I understand, you know, you guys as a band have won a few awards. You play some charity events and are involved in the community. Got voted Best Roots at the 2010 Inland Empire Music Awards, and I think our own Lacey Kendall, was it that particular one that
She was at the one before.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Okay,
I've been at all of them.
All right.
Yeah, so she gets out there and she does her thing, and so you guys may have rubbed shoulders in the past on that one, and got voted Best Classic Rock Band at the prior. I think that was the one that we're talking about.
Yeah.
And so Lacey, I think, doled out the award.
Yeah.
Did indeed.
Gave you a high
Presented
five.
it to us.
Yeah.
For
Well
sure.
deserved.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about those experiences. What was that like?
Those are pretty awesome. It's now the IE Weekly's hosting it, and it's kind of like the Academy Awards, sort of, or the Grammys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they roll out the red carpet, and it's a big. They have all of the bands that won last year, and big bands from the area playing, and
Right.
and they announce all the winners, and it's always really awesome. It's good that whenever people are helping out local music.
For sure.
And yeah, it was cool. We won 2009 for Best Classic Rock, and we won last year for Best Roots, and we got to headline the event too, which was pretty fun.
Rad. Totally
Yeah.
rad. You hear that, IE magazine? We're doing big things over here. How do you keep inspired and keep the wheels turning, as it were? What does it take for you guys?
I don't know. I think it's just music. Anytime I just listen to music, that just inspires me, really.
Mhm.
Just good songs, and nothing's more fun than just writing songs, especially when you come up with something really good.
Yeah.
And then it's just, you feel like the greatest, and then, then it's torture again, just trying to make it all come together.
Can we get another one like that?
Yeah.
So we need another one of those. Yeah.
The other night we were rehearsing, me and Renee were just rehearsing. Steve had to leave early, and we just started making up songs. And I'm telling you, we were just coming up with the greatest stuff, and it was only because the tape recorder was out of batteries.
And so we're going to hear that now. This is Right Right by Soul of the River.
Down, wrapped up in chains, ain't got no name. Everything's all the same, and we got sprawl like a spreading disease through the cities. Multiplex movie screens. Well, it's a lick shade, one that has been made. Brand new SUV and flat screen TV, running kinda funny, keeping up with the lead. Guzzle need a muzzle for your gluttony. I don't know, bro. I don't know, and I don't know, bro. I don't know, and I don't know, bro. I don't know, and right.
That's a great song. Like I said, the sort of I don't want to say politics, but the sort of the culture that you're talking about there, political culture, and moreover corporate culture. speaks, tomes about some of the problems that we're having right now as, sort of as a community. And these are systemic problems, that branch all the way up to the highest levels of corporate bureaucracy and lobbying and things like that I have. I have lots of issues with.
Bob Dylan said back in the 60s when he used to travel around the country, every different area would be completely different. He says now when he goes on tour, everything's the same because it's all the same stores and same restaurants.
Yeah. And not to use this term in a racially charged way, but it is a bit whitewashed, our culture is so bland. In reality, a lot of other people, I think probably from the outside looking in, see us as a very dynamic culture, but the people in charge, they like to have it differently, I think, because it's, a money-making machine.
Yeah.
And we are the cogs in that machine, my friend. But I'll leave it at that. We'll save that for the next episode of Jacob's Late Night smash hit breakout series. But tell me a little bit. We know Bobby D obviously had some influence on perhaps some of your outlooks, worldview, and things like that. But and like I said, I may have not put you right on the right band in terms of how you categorize yourself with the Pearl Jam reference or whatever. But what do you guys draw inspiration from in terms of other music and in life? What are the things that inspire you?
I think Paul Simon's like the greatest.
He's pretty good.
And
a poet.
Yeah, Paul Simon, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, all that stuff is all my kind of thing. And Steve's really into Led Zeppelin and Violent Femmes, and Renee's really into more like 80s alternative before alternative wasn't alternative, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Police and stuff. And what's funny is we get compared to Red Hot Chili Peppers and Sublime a lot, and I never really ever listened to Red Hot Chili Peppers or Sublime. But
I don't think you guys get Sublime at all. I think whoever said that totally missed the mark.
All right.
Chili Peppers, maybe, I didn't hear any slap bass. I didn't hear any, any of that, but... I
like the Chili Peppers. I never really listened to them before we developed our style, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh wow, we do kind of sound similar.
Well, you guys always have this really kind of groovy artwork on your albums, so I could see how people would, if you've seen the psychedelic stuff that the Peppers put on their albums, I think that at least in some regard you guys fit the bill there. Over time, how has the band sort of developed? How's your sound developed? Like you said, you've been in studio for quite a while, putting the album together. Have you found that the songwriting process was in any way inhibited by sort of hanging on to some of the older songs and trying to make a cohesive feel to the album, or has it come together in a way that mashes up well?
I think we got pretty lucky. It just I noticed that there's some songs that there's one song in particular that we recorded that didn't go on the album, and just we weren't really you kind of captures the excitement when you're recording, so you have to catch it like right at that right moment. And luckily, most of these songs we caught them all at the right moment, and there was just one that didn't really work out, so we didn't put it on the album. We'll release it for free somewhere later on down the road or something.
Yeah, that'll be a nice teaser for everyone who follows you guys. You guys, what kind of following do you guys have? I mean, people, they come out in droves to see you guys, or how does that?
It's different. Sometimes they come out in droves. Sometimes we're playing to one guy who's the bartender or something. You never know. And what's funny is we always play. It seems like our shows that when we play our best, and we're just like, wow, we're fantastic. There's 3 people there, and they could care less. And then sometimes we're playing terrible, and the place is just going nuts.
Right.
You never know. You can't predict it.
Well, sure, and then when you inject booze in the equation, and there's been a little imbibing going on, then things, people will, you can hand feed them practically anything.
Yeah.
As far as your successes, as a band, what words of encouragement do you have for other people who are trying to make it right now?
I would just say just do it for your heart, and you just got to do it because you love it, because you're just going to find nothing but closed doors. So
yeah,
you just got to do it because you love it, and the closed doors won't bother you because you'll just find open doors. Just keep looking. Yeah,
and that's good words to live by. I think for any path that you choose in life, you got to stick to it and outcompete. That's the name of the game these days. Outcompete. I know you guys have I think I saw you on Reverb Nation, you got a Facebook, you have your own site. Tell us where we can find your music online if we wanted to go check it out.
Yeah, we're every website there is, we're there. All the big ones, Facebook and Twitter, and and Reverb Nation, souloftheriver.com, and we also offer free downloads. First 3 songs you heard are all free. You can download it for free on Facebook or Reverb Nation or souloftheriver.com, MySpace, all of them.
For sure.
For like the one guy who's still on MySpace, I think.
Right, yeah. What I thought was good is that you guys were top of the search pile, you know, on I think pretty much any search provider.
Right.
So it makes it easy for people to find you guys. Your name is individualistic enough that it stands out. So people can get out there, type it in, find it, everybody. Free music waiting for your earbuds, your eardrums there, so check it out. Now, if people wanted to buy this new album, where can they do that? Also on the same sites?
Yeah, we'll have it up. The album will be released in about next month, I think, and it'll be on Amazon, CD Baby, and iTunes. Downloads available on Amazon as well. Rhapsody, Zune, all of those.
Very cool. Well, we'll definitely look forward to hearing some more music from you guys when we get the official release date.
Yeah.
We'll be looking for that.
We're excited.
And thanks a lot, Brett, for coming in.
Thanks
and
for
doing
having
the
us.
interview and everything. We're stoked about it. And everybody out there, we want to thank you guys again for listening. This will be our last edition of Lunchtime Live for
the season.
For the season. But we'll be back in the fall with more tasty bands, tasty riffs coming your way. I'm Jacob Justus for Coyote Radio, and thanks for listening.
You've been listening to Lunchtime Live. Have a great week.